Welcome to another installment of the Goddess Keys, where we unleash and unlock the tools and the jewels to support us with aligning with our innermost selves, retrieving any lost records or information that gets us out of alignment with Goddess consciousness. We are retrieving these codes in this now moment. And thank you for being here. Whether you're stopping by for the first time, whether you've been connected to the channel for a bit, I wanted to discuss a message that's been coming through pretty prevalently today. I'm thinking that it's because we're somewhere within the beginning of spring, and so we have that Aries season energy coming in. But yeah, a lot of fiery energy right now, and specifically as it relates to the Salamanders. So I'm not sure if this is new information, but Salamanders, you have your Salamanders in the 3D realm, but then there are also an elemental version of Salamanders beyond the third dimension, and they live within the element of fire. That being said, there are some pretty interesting correlations with the typical salamander, which is a reptile, a really cute little reptile. Kind of looks, within the kind of vibe of like a gecko or that sort of thing. Known for having different colors on them, and also known for their regeneration properties. So salamanders are known to be able to regrow limbs, and so they're often studied because of this, their ability to sometimes do the miraculous. So there's been a lot of energies around the salamanders that have been showing up in my realm, and I did a search just to see what's out there, and there's really not a lot out there about the salamanders, and specifically as it relates to the elemental fiery aspect of the salamanders. So I just was like, what, I guess I'm gonna record something so that there's just more information out there about them. But salamanders are really big when it comes to alchemy, the alchemical fire process. So they live in fire, but there's also a watery element to them as well. And they can literally live within volcanoes, be associated with the Earth's mantle. This ability to regenerate. So something, when we think about lava and we think about volcanoes are really special because a lot of times they're seen as being very destructive. But the lava literally creates land. Okay, when lava erupts, it creates actual land. So it's very big with creation as well. And the salamander has this energy, and this is a big reason why they're able to regrow limbs. And there is something about the fire element that is very life-giving. And it has a creation energy, but it also has a destruction energy. So if you are looking to rebirth yourself or recreate yourself, if you are tapping into raw primordial creation energy, it might be a good idea to work with the salamanders and really consider what your relationship is with fire. A lot of the folks that I work with sometimes have to overcome certain fears as it relates to fire and the flame. This is something that I also needed to alchemize early on in my path as well. Fire was seen as being something scary and traumatic to me, but it's a partner that I utilize in my journey quite often. And fire is a way to renew, it's a way to clean, it's a way to not just cleanse, but also to transform. So with the element of fire, you're able to transform an object from one form to another. And this is the energy that might be really good for us, particularly as we move into the spring. I know that when we're in the spring, we like to focus a lot on the flowers and the greenery and even eggs, like that kind of symbolism. But there is a deeper, more primordial creational energy that spring holds as well. And it's this ability to rebirth yourself. And a lot of times we rebirth ourselves through fire. You know, this goes into this whole phoenix symbolism as well, this ability to rise above the ashes. And the salamander is able to do this in its own right by the way that it's able to heal itself. So you might also want to call upon the salamander animal totem or the salamander elemental to support you with regeneration. As you are expanding your consciousness and activating your DNA, a lot of changes are happening. Physical changes are happening. There's a lot of life changes that are going on, and instead of fighting change, invite it into your realm and become the frequency of change so that you're able to shape the change that you want to see. Change is inevitable. It's always going to be here, but it's the way that you address change and you utilize it to shape your life that is very important. And the salamander can support you with ushering in your path to change through sacred fire. So this is just a really quick message, check in with the salamanders. And then one thing that I would say is whenever you're introducing yourself to a new practice, right, you always kind of want to just clear any old karmic storylines. So sometimes you might have fears with working with certain elements because there was a trauma there was a storyline that didn't really end up too great in your past or in your ancestral history. So you also want to just make sure that you're clearing that energy as well, so you don't invite that same karmic loop into your reality, right? You want to make sure that whatever element you work with, that you're working with it in its most organic vibration. And there is such a thing called corrupted elementals that we're clearing as well. So whenever you are serious about working with the elements, make sure that your relationship with them is in good standing first and foremost. And then that can ensure that you're able to shape change a lot more. And there's not like as much of like a chaotic energy with some of the elements, right? Because the elements are very strong. I mean, these are raw primordial forces that you're working with. So you really want to make sure that you know what you're doing, and that any deep-seated subconscious fears that you may have to working with the elementals is cleared before you do that. And if you're interested in learning more about enhancing your spiritual journey, check out some of the links below. And until we meet again, bye y'all.